What was normal when you were a kid that is taboo, banned, shunned, shocking nowadays? Getting to the airport 15 minutes before your flight, no security lines or strange restrictions on what you could bring. Also, your soak could come to the gate and hang out with you until you got on the plane. My friends and I would bike to O'Hare, ditch our bikes in the forest preserve, walk through security, go to the gates and wait for the pilots to show up. We would ask them questions, they would show us the planes, paperwork, tell us stories and whatnot. When I have kids, they will probably think I'm making up a horseshit story. Getting to see the cockpit of a plane. Riding in the back of a pickup, staying by myself when I was about 8, getting my first pocket knife at 5, spending all day running around in the woods by myself. Loved riding in the back of my stepdad's pickup when I was a kid. We'd even go on the highway. Me, my brother, and my dad were once at the park. When it was time to go, my brother hopped on the hood of the truck and yelled that he wasn't ready to go yet. So my dad started up the truck and drove the 10 blocks back to our house with my brother on the hood. I begged to go next, but he wouldn't let me. Went out to play knowing that I just needed to be back home by the time the street lights came on. Parents just knew I was somewhere in the neighborhood. I always remember around 5-6 o'clock you would start to hear parents shouting out the front door for their kids to come home for dinner. For me, there were just so many kids outside. I could be blocks away, and through the grapevine I am told I am needed back home. Singing turtles. Your mom's looking for you. My dad had this distinct whistle that he used to rally us kids home for dinner. Even to this day, he'll whistle, and my head would turn like a swivel. It's funny how little things like that never leave your memory. My mum has this gasp noise she started using when I was little to scare me into not doing certain things, like touch a wall outlet or hot stove or whatever. She still does it on occasion if I happen to be driving. It still nearly makes my heart stop and it's infuriating. She says she can't help it. Getting reprimanded by adults that weren't your parents or your relatives. I wish more people felt comfortable doing this. I broke out an old man's window with a baseball when I was 11 after he told me I needed to play somewhere else. I had a who gives a shit attitude, because I knew my dad would know it was an accident and fix it. The man was about 80 and explained how it was his bedroom and it was cold at night now. He also explained how it scared his wife terribly who had a heart condition. It made me realize it was more important that it's no big deal. I think that was a point when I noticed that actions that cause damages, even ones that can be easily fixed, have extensive other consequences. May the Greens both rest in peace. Great people. You killed them both? Playing doctor. Red Rover. Red Rover send a dislocated shoulder on over. Red Rover. Red Rover send someone right at the skinny kid who everyone hates right over. You think that was bad? When I was a kid we played this game called Monks. The field was set up a bit like football, with the end zones being safe. One person was the head monk and had to tag kids running from safe zone to safe zone, which you can only stay on for 10 seconds. If he tags you, you go on his team and have to help him to be able to tag more kids. This usually meant tackling and pinning someone down until head monk got to him. Mind you, we played this in parking lots. We played Smear the Queer. Big group of kids get in a circle and throw a ball in the air. Whoever catches the ball is the queer and gets tackled by everyone else. When the queer is tackled, he has to throw the ball in the air, and the game continues. But why would you ever catch it? If you were queer, maybe you liked getting tackled by a bunch of guys? No, seriously, it was fun to just see how long you could be chased without someone catching you. There were no seatbelts in the back seat. Sometimes kids would lay up in the back window on car rides. We were allowed to play out in the woods and in the neighborhood all day until dark. Our parents gave us alcohol at their parties, and at our parties, when we were age 12 and over, our parents didn't hassle the teachers or blame them for not teaching us properly. We walked or rode our bikes 2 miles to school as soon as we knew our own way. I never see kids riding bikes anymore, sad face. When my daughter was in 2nd grade, her school was 2 blocks from our place. She rode it on her own, on a bike path. We got visited by concerned neighbors and called by the school administration. We told them that we figured she could do it. It was pathetic. Oh, another one. Being able to run around on the playground with your pretend gun, aka your thumb, finger, and shoot your fellow classmates. This zero tolerance bullshit is just that. Bullshit. Zero tolerance equals zero common sense equals zero fairness. My brother was arrested and charged with a terroristic threat in the 8th grade, 5 years ago, for bringing a toy gun to school and shooting a teacher. When pulled, the obviously fake gun had a flag rolled down that said bang on it in a cartoon format. The Black Ranger was African American and the Yellow Ranger was Asian. Dodgeball. In fact, they banned it the year after I graduated elementary. A shame, really. They banned dodgeball? What the frick? I'm lost. Kids are soft today. Can't handle being hit by an inflated rubber ball. Elementary school kids would wait at the bus stop with no parents there to supervise. One morning we held a screaming contest to see who could scream the loudest and longest. I like to think that we were some sort of PSA about using birth control. But who could yell peanuts the loudest? The kid named Philip. Parents supervise their kids at bus stops? Taking a butter knife to school to finish putting my sandwich together and not having the SWAT team called. I did an archery demonstration in 7th grade. Bow, arrow, and target were brought to school. Never got in trouble. Received an A. They offered archery in gym class where I went to school. This was only 6 years ago. I still have archery. I'm shooting a bow as I type this. Playing outside and climbing trees and generally wandering far and wide on estates. Suggest that to kids nowadays and they're amazed that I could entertain myself without a computer. And their parents would be mortified that your mother had no way of contacting you at any given instant during the day. My mum installed a bell at the back door. If she rang it, I was expected to come inside from the woods. She only used it for dinner time or emergencies. It was a solid system. Swearing in kids movies. See also The Goonies, or any other good kids movie from the 80s. Nowadays they have to be so damn whitewashed it's not worth watching. Do you think Labyrinth could be made today exactly as it was in the 80s, including the David Bowie codpiece? That's why I liked Super 8. Although I guess it's not a kids movie. The kids talk like kids would and not how parents think kids talk. Kids swear like sailors if there isn't an authority figure around. One of my favorite movies as a kid was Heavyweights. It was a freaking Disney movie about kids who go to a fat camp. I recently purchased and watched it for the first time in about 15 years and kept thinking, holy shit, there's no way this would get made today. And that was made in 1995. They killed the blob. Candy cigarettes. Please tell me I'm not only one who remembers these. This will instantly piss everyone off. Wearing a shirt with a transformer on it. I was an assistant teacher and had to give a kid detention because the robot's arm also functioned as a gun in the movie, which you really wouldn't think about because it's a stupid robot. That's a joke, right? Please tell me you're joking. No joke. It was some insane zero tolerance policy bullshit. They explained that he could go around the classroom pretending to shoot people because of the character on his shirt. I was not a happy assistant after that fact. We must ACT now, before the children are pretending to shoot each other. We all know pretending is the gateway to action. A male adult could interact with a kid without everybody thinking it's creepy or a parent freaking out. When I was really young I could run around naked and people would think it was cute. When I do that now, I just get arrested. And you can't shit in your pants anymore. Oh, the injustice. Adult diapers, my friend. Buy them. Try them. Love them. It's still cute if you do it now. The police are just jealous that they aren't as cute. Parenting. Actually knowing friends' phone numbers by heart. I remember the phone number I have now and my best friend's from 15 years ago. Those are the only two phone numbers I know by heart. I read that as my best friend's mom. MTV playing music videos. That's an urban legend. I was there. I saw M. And not just on TRL. TRL didn't even play them. they'd play 5 seconds with a girl screaming over it and then move on. I am certainly no authority on the matter and would definitely defer to the superior judgment of other Redditors, but in my opinion, letting your kids go outside to play unsupervised was normal when I was a kid, but I would be very fearful to allow my kids to do so. Spanking. Edited to add. This is officially my most upvoted comment. And I don't even agree with spanking. I remember once I smugly told my mum after being spanked that it didn't hurt, so she got my dad who had a thick ass leather belt. After that, I always remembered to at least produce some tears when my mum spanked me. I had a leather belt, or a wooden spoon. Mum was surprisingly worse than dad though. I did get fair warning. My parents would say if you do that again, I am going to spank you. And I always did it again, cause I was a little turd. I am sure this won't be seen by many, but I can recall something from my teenage years. I was a very smart ass and cocky 15-year-old. So one day I was mouthing off to my mom, and old dad overheard. Well, he interjected with a quick, "Shut the hell up." I kept it up and my dad grabbed my arm and pulled me out of the room. I made the fatal mistake of swinging a fist at my dad. He quickly weaved out of the way and kicked my feet from under me and I landed on my back. With the wind knocked out of me and fighting back a few tears, he imparted some wisdom on me. "Listen son, I don't care how big you get. You'll never be able to kick my ass. And don't cry, faggot." I've always wondered what would happen in one of these situations if the kid did manage to drop the parent. Seems like all respect would be gone.